Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast. Introducing your host from New York, here is Sam Roberts.
We welcome to Sam Roberts Show here with Katie Linendahl, Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe in the place.
Yes, second time
I've
had you on, but under different circumstances.
Under very different circumstances.
You like these circumstances better?
These circumstances are working out nice,
Not
man.
Bad,
Not bad at all.
Not bad. When did you ever think you were going to get signed to WWE?
I didn't plan on it.
Right.
But it was funny, man. It's a lot of a confluence of a lot of good guys, kind of going to bat for me and making the connection with me and Triple H, and next thing you know, I find myself here.
Yeah. When you get here, and we were talking to AJ Styles about it. Do you understand the scope of everything until you get here? Like, was that something like, oh yeah, I expected it to be this big, or is it once you get here, like, wow, it really is?
I definitely understood the scope, but it looks a lot different from the inside as opposed to the outside. So that in and of itself is kind of surreal,
Right.
Kind of like being here and just realizing that the whole town is about WrestleMania in this place, man. It's pretty nuts.
Were you another thing? I mean, I don't know if you expect anything at this point, but were you expecting to go to NXT? Did you want a main roster deal? Did it matter?
I had a bunch of discussions with various people in the office, and at the time, NXT was kind of evolving into this monster that the company itself didn't really know what to do with. You know what I mean? It was just like, this is supposed to be the AAA club. This is not supposed to be a thing. This is supposed to be, these are supposed to be armory shows where guys are getting, and then all of a sudden, they're drawing these crowds, and the show's hot, and everything's going like it's going, and then we're selling out the Barclays, and then we're selling out Wembley, and it's but I think Hunter kind of had a vision for how he wanted things to go, and he realized he kind of had, he wanted to catch a fire with everything, and bringing me into NXT was a big part of that. He knew I could add momentum to the brand,
right.
and kind of help shift perception from it being AAA ball to being an actual third WWE brand.
And I would imagine that's why you got to keep your name and your look and everything. It's
Absolutely.
Like, hey, wrestling fans, Samoa Joe is going to be on our NXT show.
It also helped that I got a really good lawyer who is down with the trademark law. You know what I mean? So made that real easy.
You're one of the big surprises, though. I remember we were watching. We were like, "Wow, that was kept under wraps for quite a while." Were you having those discussions for months prior?
Yeah, actually, I was. They started out real informal. When I've been wrestling as long as I have, I've made several inroads and friends with a lot of people who kind of, and it was a real weird process because it was kind of the first time WWE in a long time had ever kind of brought in somebody third party under their own guise and didn't try to create them, unto themselves. And, it was like, hey, I was an experimental idea, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, we got these ideas, and they didn't want to say who, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, can we set up a meeting, come down to Orlando, and let's talk about some things. We have some ideas we want to throw at you, see what you think. And I think for the most part, WWE was a little concerned that I'd be insulted initially by some of the inroads they made to me, because not understanding what he was trying to build in NXT and what was going on here. And but we had some really solid meetings, and I've been fortunate enough that I've been kind of on the cusp of companies kind of getting worldwide acclaim and kind of exploding, and this is kind of like my third time, and it's awesome. So I recognize all the hallmarks and the signs that I'd seen before in places like Ring of Honor, and and it's like when I saw that and I saw the energy and the vibe, and I went to the shows and kind of met with some of the guys and saw how they felt about things, I was just like, no, this I'm totally cool with that. That's where I want to be.
Speaking of Ring of Honor,
Mm-hmm.
like when you look at your class, right? You're sitting there, and whether you're in TNA, you're in the Indies,
Yep.
or whatever you were at that point, but you're looking at WWE's landscape, and
Yeah.
you're seeing Punk, and then you're seeing Bryan,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're seeing Seth Rollins,
Yep.
and then you're seeing all these guys that were in Ring of Honor, were world champion over there, are now the main event guys on WWE, which at one point wasn't really something that people thought would happen.
No, not at all.
Are you sitting there going like, whoa, I need to head in this direction because this wasn't happening?
Like, I don't know, man. It's crazy because it was never a like a timetable issue for me. Like, oh man, they're getting it. I should get it too. You know, because it's like, first of all those guys are really good friends of mine.
Right.
So it was like I was beyond stoked for them. I was like, man, that's awesome, man. Because I understood the content of character. I understood what they brought to the table, and I'd been in the ring with them. I traveled the roads with them, so I knew what they were capable of, and I knew their ability level. And to see them be WWE champion just reinforced what I already believed about them. So for me, you know, and the other thing too, it was really just business. You know, I'd done, you know, for 10 years I'd done great business with TNA, so it was a good relationship. So for me to be like, oh, you know, hey, you know, this and this, I mean, you know, like, no, we had a great business relationship, and you know, I can't really fault them for that. So, but then when the opportunity presented itself here, it was just like, you know, it was just kind of like, it was I felt more confident because of the inroads they had made,
right.
if anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if that didn't happen before I came here, I'd probably be more apprehensive about, you know, coming to WWE, because it's like, you know, hey, it's the place to be, but at the same time, it's like, am I really going to get the fair shake that I hope I would? And seeing what they've done here, I more than realized, yeah, I would.
In conversation with Styles and Balor, having that nervous moment before that first debut, did you come in a different kind of scenario?
Yeah.
Were you afraid that the reaction wasn't going to be what it was?
It was funny.
What was going through your head?
I wasn't afraid about the reaction because, you know, everybody else was pretty confident in it. I was more hoping I didn't bust a Shockmaster and just like, you know, like come through the curtain, take a 3/4 roll, try to stand up and like play it off all cool. No, I'm straight. Yeah. What's up? Here now. You know, like
real badass.
Yeah. Doing ninja training back there, practicing my rolls. You know, like, so I was more nervous about that than the reaction. I mean, I knew it'd be a special moment. Yeah, I knew it'd be a special moment. I knew it'd be cool, but yeah. So I was just like, it was funny. Like, I was actually sitting down looking like, a lot of cables down here, man. Like, can we some tape or anything? You know.
And that's probably the benefit too of debuting in front of an NXT crowd. Is that's kind of a smarter wrestling crowd.
Absolutely.
Meaning that they know they're on the internet. They go to indie shows.
You know, they're definitely a more impassioned wrestling crowd.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
That's the
yeah,
word
you know, it's like they make an effort to follow things, and they have a good idea of the guys that come in. So you know, it definitely, yeah, by far made it much easier.
It's funny that you bring up, you know, having your lawyer and your trademark stuff and saying, like, no, if I'm going to go to the WWE, Samoa Joe is what's going to WWE. Because, you know, know-it-all wrestling fan that I am, I'm sitting there watching your debut show with Katie going like, no, he's not going to call himself Samoa Joe. I'm sure those T-shirts came from someone. He probably had that T-shirt made himself. Yeah. They're not going to sell Samoa Joe T-shirts. They're not going to. And I'm just sitting there and
no,
it's like,
but instead we sold a lot of them.
Yeah, it was sold out day one.
How do you have the confidence knowing going in that you can keep those rights and this isn't an anomaly situation?
Like I said, my lawyer's dope.
But I imagine two wrestlers now coming in are like, well, Joe got to keep it. It's hard to stack up against you.
Yeah. But you know, I'm really super over and awesome, so I mean that helps. No, I think the biggest thing really is when they looked at the situation, which was very unique that I was coming into, and AJ's much the same way. It's very unique where we have you know decade plus careers and decades plus name recognition behind us. That, you know, it's more of a benefit to keep us as we are, you know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest thing. And, you know, for branding purposes, you know, and all that, I understand their business acumen behind if they do change somebody's name. But at the same time, it's, you know, do we want to start moving stuff a couple months down the line or start moving stuff on night one? And I think that was a motivating factor too. I mean, it was financially smart and it was creatively smart. So I think that was the biggest thing that went into it.
And I would think in terms of confidence, like you were talking about, Katie, like it has to give you confidence that other people don't have, you and AJ, knowing that you can make a good living in wrestling without being in WWE. Like, and you both have.
Yeah, and we
both
have for years.
Continue to.
And yeah, and you know, I don't want to say it put us in a better bargaining position, but it put us personally at ease because we understood that you know, we have a tremendous opportunity to succeed on the biggest stage that there is in sports entertainment.
Yeah, and I mean, in any profession, it's like when you go in as a very hireable employee, you're going to get the deal you want.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, if it didn't work out here, you know, we wouldn't be at Dairy Queen tomorrow making tasty freezes. So
we love blizzards.
Yeah.
If you do end up at Dairy Queen, like
I'd be a horrible like Dairy Queen employee. Just I'd drop that thing every time. I'd make them thin. I'd make them thin just to be like, oh. Well, you wanted to see the test, bro.
Right.
It's not my fault. Yeah.
You do it over the counter.
Yeah. Oops, messed that one up.
What's your go-to Blizzard? I'm so curious.
I
This
haven't
is
had.
an integral part of our lives.
Yeah. I haven't had one in a while, but I think I was just went with the Reese's one. You know, just like
That's
peanut butter chocolate, real.
That's tough.
Nothing crazy.
Fair
Now,
enough.
I'm watching, the way things are going in wrestling, and it would appear that Finn Balor is getting all his friends signed. You know what I mean?
He is, right?
It would appear that everybody, and then they just announced that Zack Sabre Jr. is doing the Cruiserweight tournament, which
Yep.
is another guy that Finn Balor won't stop tweeting about. So, I was thinking about it, and if you go on YouTube, you know that the last time we spoke, it was with the Wu-Tang of wrestling.
Yes.
It was you, MVP,
Homicide. And
Loki. Now, obviously,
Upstanding citizens, by the way.
very upstanding citizens.
Oh, absolutely.
I know them all well. They all have different career paths maybe than Finn Balor's friends do. But do you look at that being like, because you did it in TNA.
Yeah.
Do you look at it going, I want the Wu-Tang of wrestling somehow to be involved here?
That's more dependent on the Wu-Tang of wrestling, man. Some of those guys, they're free spirits, to say the least.
Right.
So,
Right.
I don't know if they're about this lifestyle at this point in their lives, but
Yeah,
man. If we could work that out, it'd be awesome. Like I said, I've been able to, I hope, have some influence on some of my friends being here. AJ Nakamura, who I remember when he first started in the LA dojo with me in Inoki dojo in Santa Monica, and to see him, debuting here tonight it's crazy, man.
and it's both like you and Nakamura are probably guys that people would assume are always going to have reputations but never going to end up in WWE. 2 years ago.
And I think that was kind of I think
that
I think 2 years ago that was like that was definitely the perception. It's like nobody goes in there that from somewhere else, and I think there's just been kind of philosophical changes within the company to say, hey, listen, maybe we're missing out on some really great talent, and kind of just in spite of ourselves. So
Is it still weird though to turn around and see like you're?
Oh,
you on
dude,
this-
that's
it's-
you.
yeah.
It's weird as a wrestling fan. It's like, whoa, that really happened.
Yeah. It was funny. I didn't have a real surreal moment with all of this, and until like last night, me and AJ went to dinner, and we jumped in his Navigator, and which I was just like, really, you rented a Navigator? What's that about? He's like, and we're like driving down the street to go meet some other friends for dinner, and all of a sudden I'm just like, what are we doing? At what point in time, or and he's just like, I know, right? This is weird. I'm like, yeah, it's definitely weird.
Does the fan recognition change, like in a big way, or is it like, no, we've been at this level for a while?
There is an increase in fan recognition, but at the same time, it's like you get a lot of fans like, I always knew it, dog. Because I said, and then you're here, and I was like, see, like that, like that's like the major like overriding thing I get, like
they got you signed.
Yeah, because I wrote I'd be on the Twitter account being like, yo, y'all need Joe, and then you showed up, and I was like, they listened.
Must have been reading my tweets,
Yeah,
because I saw you. I see you now.
Straight to Vince, B. That's what I did.
What's the plan for Samoa Joe? Is it to stay on NXT and to continue to build it and be an attraction for that brand, or is it to eventually get to the main roster? Because you're the first guy, I think, to go to NXT and not be quote unquote developmental, meaning it wasn't like you're gonna come here, you're gonna train, then we're gonna get you on TV.
To quote Hunter, I'm not gonna pay you to train. Which I was like, dude, come on, man, like maybe a little extra. I'll show up and say hi, yeah, man. I think special moments shouldn't be ruined by speculation, so time will tell.
So well spoken, Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
so
do my
there are
best.
special moment. Was that? And were you the first guy to not be paid to train on the NXT show?
I'm not entirely sure. I haven't asked everybody else what their deal is.
Because I'd be sitting there like, if I'm Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, or Sami Zayn, I'm like, we actually had careers too before we got here.
Oh no, I heard it from all them. Trust me, I still do.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get it twisted.
Oh, Hollywood's here.
Oh,
Hollywood Joe.
It's salty. It's nasty.
When
Yeah,
you-
I'll show up for the weekend shows and be like, oh, hey, what'd you do this weekend? Fish? I'm like, so?
Yeah, because you're not doing the
Yeah.
local Florida shows.
Get like me, homie. What's up?
When you go to England, to do the takeover show.
Yep.
Because we were watching that live.
Yeah.
And I was commenting on the crowd and being like, I've never seen a crowd like this in terms of persistence, right?
Insane.
Like when you know you're going on last.
There's glee clubs that are not as coordinated as those crowds over there.
They're singing, they're doing the whole deal. But when you're going on last, and they've been doing this for half, 3/4 of the show, are you sitting there going, like, slow down, you guys aren't going to have anything left for my match? Or are you like, these guys are on a wave? No,
because the lead up to take over London, they were just as insane. And I literally mean it. I mean, just the energy was wild, crazy. In Blackpool, they sang for Jordan and Gable for 15 minutes. And I'm not like, I really wish I was exaggerating that figure. Like, you know, you always say, 15 minutes. And no, we timed it. We sat backstage, and like, I remember at one point them going, all right, stop all the timers. And then they started another timer, and for 15 minutes, Jordan. And it's funny because, like, you know, especially, you know, Gable and Jordan, I bring them up. They're coming into their own. They're hitting the stride. They're incredible. And to see Jordan, who's a very serious, you know, amateur wrestler and, you know, is a big brute powerhouse, doing this weird little dance around the ring for 15 minutes as they're chanting his name. I mean, we knew kind of going in that these crowds don't, especially in the UK, they don't run out of gas.
Right.
Like, it's like they're Energizer bunnies. Like, they don't stop. Like, they just, in fact, it heightens and it grows and it grows and it grows until.
They must have such contempt for any wrestler they see getting blown up. They're like, we're not blown up. We've been doing this all night.
Yeah. Why are you tired in there? I'm fine. I've been singing and skipping for the past 3 hours.
Well, so many different facets. Last question. In wrestling, how has your lifestyle changed now? I imagine it's been so different over the years in the timeline.
I mean, it's changed in, man, the New Day's loud. No, it's changed in, you know, I mean, scheduling wise and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty much the same as what I've been doing, but it's definitely changed in like I said, in a little bit in the recognition factor, and definitely, you know, seeing a lot of fans just kind of be re-energized by me being here, and them just kind of being like, hey man, I'm so stoked, I can't wait, and
well, they put you on the map, remember?
Yeah.
They got
they
you
tweeted
there.
Yeah.
It's a good reciprocity.
This is their project. Yeah, it's all. We made this. We are the movement.
That's my favorite thing. I put it on Twitter.
This dude gave me the, like, legit, like, he walked to me, he's like, listen, man, about 3 years ago, I was like, Samoa Joe needs to be in WWE. And man, I tweeted about that thing, man. I tweeted Hunter, I tweeted Stephanie, and yo, B. I hugged him and kissed him on the head, man. I didn't know what to do, man. He was about it.
You made my family thanks you.
Yeah. but for me, you know, I mean, lifestyle-wise, and just for me in general, I mean, it's kind of a nice, you know, to find myself here and have WWE be a part of whatever legacy I leave on wrestling and sports entertainment. It's awesome, man, and I'm enjoying my time here.
Have you met Vince McMahon yet?
Yes, I have.
What does he think of Samoa Joe? Because that's what it is, right? Samoa Joe is the
Vince.
character.
Vince is the ultimate poker player, and you will never know. Like,
so you have no clue.
Oh no, he's just very nice to meet you, and then it's like this coy smile where he's like, very nice to meet you, but on the other side is like, you ain't. So I give him, man. You can tell, man. Like, I've been at the table with some really great poker players. I'm sure Vince McMahon is a hell of a poker player.
And at the end of the day, he's like, we'll be friends when you make me a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, that's that.
So Vince, we gonna be friends, bud.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Well, Joe, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I can talk to you now under these circumstances.
Absolutely.
This is great, and thanks
Don't
for
get
hanging
got rid of
out,
that
man.
lawyer either, man.
No, I can't.
You got some good people around you.
Yeah, he's
Joe,
so
I
good.
got you.
He signed me some other stuff. I never can get rid of him. No.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
Hey, it's Sam Roberts. I hope you enjoyed that wrestling interview from Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast. You can go to notsam.com to subscribe to that podcast. But I upload videos like that on this YouTube channel all the time. So if you don't already subscribe now. It's on the side of the page. I made it real easy. Click the button. Subscribe to the page. Subscribe to the page.